If you don't know how to say no regularly and consistently, then you will probably never achieve anything significant or tap into your own greatness. Knowing how to and being able to say no properly is a prerequisite for significant success. My name is Andre, and I've spent about 24 years being a crash test dummy for self-help and personal development, and I'm here to share with you what worked and what doesn't, all right? So you can save time and get to your goals faster. So when I was about 23, 24 years old, I read a book called The Power of No. I think that's what it was called. It's either The Power of No or The Power of Saying No. And if I remember the author's name correctly, I believe it was James Altucher, Altucher. This was the first time that I came across this concept of actually knowing how to and starting to intentionally say no. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up today in this video, standalone, it's very important to understand this, but this also correlates to a video I just made recently where I talk about the difference between discipline and focus and how you need to have both in order to actually create big results, because I know of a lot of disciplined men who are super disciplined, structured, but yet they're not creating massive progress. And in that video, I talk about how if you're disciplined on, let's just say in the mundane or in your comfort zones, you're focusing on the wrong things. Sort of like having a goal of having a big, jacked, ripped physique and then being disciplined and going to the gym, but all you do is hit the dumbbells a little and run on the treadmill. You're not going to have a big, jacked physique, right? So discipline without focus is really just ends up being like mental masturbation and leads to burnout. You can go watch that video if you want to deep dive on that topic. However, closely related and correlated to that topic of discipline and focus, if you want to learn how to become very good at focusing, and focus is a skill that you build like discipline and anything else, it's all skills. And by the way, skills are perishable. That means you have to constantly be training them, refining them, and fine-tuning them. A prerequisite for being good at focus is being good at saying no. Let me say it this way. Once you identify a specific target that you want to get to in life, in any area of your bucket, you have to then by default say no all the time. So if you have a financial or life goal that's going to require minimum of 10 hours a week of consistent disciplined effort, and you get some really fun opportunities to do fun things with friends or this or that, or watch Netflix or whatever it may be, you have to build the muscle of being able to say no. Now, in an example like that, that's almost cliche, right? It's very simple. It's very easy to recognize. Not that we all still properly practice discipline, even though it's easy to recognize. But that's an example where it's easy to recognize. If you actually want to learn how to be ruthlessly focused, you have to learn how to say no to even things that seem really good, but they're not aligned 100% with what you say you want. And in a second, I'm going to give you a couple of more subtle examples, and then I'm going to get into a little bit of the psychology behind why it's hard to say no. Like I told you before, I read a book about the power of saying no when I was 23, 24 years old. I didn't work up the intelligence or the focus or the power to really start implementing that intentionally until my early 30s. I wasted a lot of years not using this. So let's take the example of dating. Let's say that you get very crystal clear on the kind of women that you want to meet and date, okay? And I'm not talking about some unreasonable 23-point checklist of everything she needs to have. I'm saying you've got basically your 5 non-negotiables that a woman must absolutely have for you to be compatible with her, for you to want her in your life, right? 5 absolute non-negotiables, and then maybe 5 to 10 things that are like nice to haves, right? And so let's say that you meet a woman who's, let's just go with something easy, smoking hot, drop dead gorgeous. I mean, makes your nuts twitch when you look at her kind of hot, okay? Super fun, passionate, great in bed, great in life, etc., etc., etc. But out of your 5 core non-negotiable values, and by the way, your 5 non-negotiables should be values-based, from my perspective and experience with women and observation of other men's experiences with women. But let's say out of your 5 core non-negotiable values, she doesn't hit one of them. Exact opposite on one of them. And this is where a lot of men will start to negotiate with ourselves. Well, yeah, but she has the other 4, and there's like 9 other really fun, amazing things about her. I've been through this myself. I've been the guy that negotiated on some of the core things because she was just smoking hot and so much fun, blah, blah, blah. You always pay for it eventually. She's perfect for somebody else. But knowing yourself and knowing what your core values are, your 5 non-negotiables, she wasn't perfect for me and I wasn't perfect for her, right? And I've seen other men do this. And because of my own experiences, I will then ask men when I see them going through this, I ask them, okay, hey, if she was subjectively ugly to you, would you still be negotiating on this one core non-negotiable? No, you wouldn't. Don't tell me it's because she's so fun, blah, blah, no. If she wasn't this hot, if she was ugly, you wouldn't be negotiating. Why aren't you saying no? This doesn't align with and fit with what you said you wanted. Another example of when we have to actually develop the strength and the skill to say no. Let's say you have a financial goal of making $1 million in this year in your business. And you sit down and you map out exactly what it is that you need to do. So for you, for example, it might be something like hypothetically doing 4 joint venture webinars per month, running a specific kind of ad campaign every day of the month, right? And maybe making a certain amount of calls on prospective clients. Let's just say like a little basic starter package combo of marketing and sales. And your budget that's going to be required to do all this, the ad campaigns, the technology you need, facilitating the joint venture webinars, etc. Let's just say that that's going to require $5,000 a month in spend. All right? Now, 2-3 weeks into you executing on this plan, you get a bead on a potential real estate investment, potential investment opportunity of some sort, deal of the century. But for you to make a move on that, let's say you set aside $60,000 for the whole year, $5,000 a month, right, for your plan. For you to be able to make a move on that, you got to pull $50K out of that $60,000 you set aside as your war chest to make this move. What do? You have to say no. If you're going to hit $1 million in your business, you have to say no. Oh, but Andre, but you don't understand. It's a sure thing, or like it's an amazing No. You do that, and what happens is you start to create this domino effect of all kinds of things moving sideways. I've seen this time and time again in my life and in other men's lives. Now, if you have, let's say, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million set aside liquid to make moves like that, then great. You have that war chest specifically designated for making moves when they pop up, when deals come across your desk, and you're like, yeah, I'll throw $50K at that. I'll throw $100K at that. I'm good for 200 on that, because you, let's say, have 500, 700, $1 million set aside waiting to do that. But what about when you allocated the $60K to build your business this year for marketing and sales, and you're going to have to pull 50 out to do this deal? this deal of the century. You have to say no. Okay? Let's say that whatever it is that you're working on in your life, it's requiring a certain kind of daily and weekly structure and a certain kind of time investment. And then you need some free time and downtime to recharge, to recover. And then some sort of a business networking opportunity comes along where they want you to participate, to collaborate, to maybe teach, give content. It's not really clear on how you're going to make money. It's not very clear on the ROI, but it's a great opportunity potentially to meet people, right? Build your Rolodex. But it's going to require a significant amount of time from you, and you're going to have to probably put in like at least 2 Saturdays a month to facilitate this, which is now going to chip away massively at your recovery time and your own personal recharge time to come back fresh to your own objectives. And it might put a strain on, for example, your relationship with your wife, your girlfriend, your wife and your kids, whatever. But there's this really good opportunity to network. What do? You have to say no. Now, whenever I share this with men, especially men who are in my coaching program, especially my entry-level coaching programs, one of the pushbacks that I get to this is, well, but you, Andre, yourself talk about how, any of us are one key, big, powerful relationship away from leveling up our life. Well, what if I could meet somebody here, etc., right? Well, Andre, I've worked hard to get to this place where, opportunities come my way. And if I don't put money into them, how's my money going to grow? Andre, I've been through a lot of girlfriends and 4 out of 5 isn't bad, for my core non-negotiables. You get all these kinds of pushback that can sound rational. And when I hear this, I always take men down the exact same mental exercise as an answer, and it's an opportunity for them to always answer it for themselves, and I'm going to give you that exercise now. What I do is I ask the man that I'm talking to imagine themselves as being the version of themselves that has accomplished every major dream and accomplishment that they have on their dream and goal list right now, or living in the middle of doing it. So something that I normally throw out is like, imagine that you have at least $10 million liquid sitting in the bank account, post-tax, post-charity, post your monthly nut, whatever your minimum bills are. You just have a cool 10 million liquid sitting in the bank accounts, okay? 2, your body is at the vitality and fitness level that you want, and you have great friends, you're in a happy relationship. Now, that version of you, how easy would it be for him to say no to something that doesn't align with what he has and where he wants to go? And what happens in this mental exercise is that every single time men are like, well, yeah, it would be easier for me to say no then because I have everything I want. That's usually the response. But what I point out is it's not easy for you to say no because you have everything you want. It's easier for you to say no because you respect yourself and you believe in yourself. The inability to say no is really about a lack of self-respect, a lack of self-belief, a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-esteem, and FOMO, fear of missing out. Right? If you're in a position where you are experiencing very strong financial abundance, absolute prime health, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, okay? You're winning. You got the mojo, right? You're in your stride. You've got the mojo, man. You got your magic is on point. Just things are going your way. And you've got a lot of self-respect because you've been congruent and aligned with your your goals through your daily structure, your habits, your weekly structure, and just all your life habits, it's easy to say no. Like, it was so much easier for me to say no to incredibly gorgeous, fun women when I could see from a mile off that they were just drama and trouble. And maybe they were fun for a weekend or two or a couple months, but I knew it was a firm no for anything long term. And ironically, I would say that to them, I know within the first date. I would tell them, you and I are not compatible long term, but we can have fun. And of course, that made them to want to play with me more. But I wasn't able to say no until I was in a place in my life where I respected myself and had high self-respect, high self-esteem, high self-confidence. I believed in myself that I was going to accomplish my goals, that I was going to get the outcomes that I dreamed of. If you have big goals and big dreams, but then you don't have the power to say no to things that are distraction, that would distract you, delay you, or derail you, or like almost good enough, but not quite, or things that are fun or good, but they take away from your focus and your energy, from your focus and your investment towards getting to your stated objectives and goals. If you can't say no to that, you will not get to your objectives and goals. If you believe in yourself truly and have self-respect, it'll be easy to say no, right? Because you believe that you're going to get to, let's say, that $1 million a year, that you're going to find the woman with the 5 core non-negotiables because you know the value that you bring to the table, right? You believe in yourself, you respect yourself, you have all self-confidence. But when you have a goal, but deep down inside, you truly don't respect yourself, don't have high self-esteem, don't have a lot of self-confidence, and don't believe in yourself, you immediately will get FOMO triggered at the thought of missing out on or passing on the deal of the century, or an opportunity for some kind of networking, but it's going to take a massive amount of your time, or a woman that doesn't quite fit the bill for what you know you truly want in your life. Are you with me? You get what I'm saying? Now, when we start saying no and practicing it, often we're afraid of offending and hurting people. Let me tell you something. The only people that are going to get butthurt over it are the people that are probably not very high value in themselves, right? You don't have to be an asshole about how you say it, but you can simply say, I just can't, I'd love to be part of your guys' business group, but I am 100% committed to hitting hitting 7 figures in my business this year. And I've already allotted that time to go this, and that. Anybody who's a real one, who's actually building something, they will 100% respect that. 2, their respect for you will go up. And 3, the perception that you're going to create with those other people is, oh, this guy's about his business. He's got his shit together. And clearly he believes in himself to go accomplish it because he can say no to good things. You're not desperate. You're not thirsty. You're not needy. Right? An opportunity with a woman, but she doesn't quite fit the bill for what you want. You can literally look at her and say, you know what? You are such an amazing woman. God, you're hot, you're beautiful, you're fun, you're intelligent. So many things I absolutely love about you. In fact, I might even have some guy friends I could introduce you to that might be a good fit for you. But I got to say, for me, I know that we are not a really good match long term. So I think it's best if we're just friends moving forward. If you don't like that, I totally understand and respect that. But out of respect for your time and mine, I just want you to know that I don't see a long-term future for us as something serious. You can say that, and you'll say that easily and with confidence when you have self-respect, when you have self-confidence, self-esteem, right? And you're not operating from fear and scarcity anymore, so FOMO doesn't trigger you. I meet so many men with so much incredible potential, natural intelligence, creativity, spark in their life, enthusiasm, right? Curious, thirst for knowledge, learners, hard workers, oftentimes disciplined in many areas, but stuck. Like just stuck. Just stuck in some sort of a invisible rut that they can't get out of. Which, by the way, is something I'm really good at, is getting out of ruts. And because I did it for myself, and I'm now really good at doing it for other men, helping them do it. And while this isn't always the fix, it's oftentimes a big part of the solution almost every time. It's me getting a very good understanding of their life, where all their energy and time and resources are going, and then going through a very mercurial, ruthless process of chopping off everything that doesn't belong, that isn't aligned with getting them to their goal. I'll say this in wrapping up. And by the way, this video standalone does not do justice to all the different nuances and principles that go along with the power of saying no, but it's a primer, it's a planting of the seed, something for you to think about. But I'll say this in wrapping up. It's really hard to know how and when to say no if you do not have an absolutely crystal clear vision of where you're going. As I've said before, and I say often, you need a bullseye, not bullshit. You need a bullseye of exactly what you're trying to hit. An outcome, right? Not bullshit about, well, I'd like, to be doing like this and to have that and to like experiencing this, I'd like all these things nice to have. No. Then you and I are not made for each other. We're not going to work together, right? You're not a good client, or I'm not the right coach. I need a bullseye. All right. So you tell me, okay, my situation is I'm $50,000 in debt, credit card debt. I've got student loans. Here's my resume. Here's my skill set. Here's what I've done for the last 3 years. Here's where I have experience. And in the next 5 years, I want to have at least $3 million liquid in the bank account. And I want to be making $80,000 a month in my business. Wunderbar. Excellent. Now we have bullseye, and we have an exact, accurate assessment of the lay of the land of where we're at now. Now we can go to work. And again, this is assuming that you're one of those guys that is actually, that fits the bill of what I just described, creative, you're some version or combination of like enthusiastic, creative, fun, right? Intelligent. Like you have some of those qualities. You're naturally a guy with a lot of potential. And you know that, and you've been working on it. You've been learning and studying and doing all kinds of things, but you're just stuck. Once you have a bullseye, only then with a crystal clear bullseye do you know when to say no. Because otherwise, everything's great. This chick, great. This business deal, great. This time investment, great. This opportunity over here, great. This course, great. This program, great. Listen to these 7 podcasts, great. Everything's great. But when you say $3 million liquid in the bank account within 5 years or less, and to be making $80,000 per month in this niche, and these are the skills I have, well, now it's really easy to know what to say no to. And you'll be amazed at how many things you're going to have to say no to, and be okay with that emotional tension within yourself. Because initially, again, massive FOMO usually gets triggered. And again, it really hits on how much confidence do you have, self-esteem, self-respect, right? Self-belief. But you're going to end up saying no a lot. You have to say no if you want to get to the goal. But you won't be able to know where to say no if you don't have a crystal clear bullseye that you're aiming for. So get a crystal clear bullseye on what you're aiming for. And within the context of your self-identity, and now I really have to wrap it up or I'm going to really keep going. The quality of your present life is not based upon your past. The quality of your present moment in life is largely dictated by and based upon your future self. Specifically, How clear are you on your future for yourself? And how connected are you mentally and emotionally with your future self? Now, what got you here is the last 1,000 days, right? Basically, if you look at your last 1,000 days of your life, all your decisions, habits, etc., that's what got you to where you're at. So when I say that the quality of your present moment is based more so upon the future than the past, what I'm talking about is psychologically how you feel about it. Meaning self-respect, self-confidence, self-esteem, and the ability to short-circuit FOMO and be able to work up the emotional and mental courage to say no to things that are good because they don't align with your future, right? 1,000 days ago, if you're not at where you wanted to be, where you want to be, think back 1,000 days. Over the last 1,000 days, you have been unclear about where you truly want to be today, 1,000 days ago. And so what happened is you've been going through life without any clarity on a bullseye that you were aiming for. You've been saying yes to way too many things, thinking that it's all, you're doing personal development, self-help, improving, blah, blah, blah. But really all you've been doing is scattering your energy. You've been diffusing yourself. You have the illusion of learning something, of knowing, but it's just information and head knowledge. It's not results. It's not application. And if you look at the last 1,000 days, look at the actual results that you've generated or not generated in your habits and your actions. There has been, I can tell you, if you don't have the results that you want today, look over the last 1,000 days, there has been no clear, consistent progress towards the goals that you have because you have absolutely lacked any sort of congruence and alignment with the version of you that creates the outcome that you want. So you always look towards the past, the last 1,000 days, to assess the tactical habits in your thoughts, words, and actions that got you or didn't get you to where you're at. Now, if you want to create a very powerful future for yourself that you manifest over the next 1,000 days of your life, don't dwell on the past, simply learn from it. What you need to dwell on is your future self, the bullseye, that where you want to land, where you want to be, and then become absolutely viscerally, emotionally connected with it. And one of the things that I train my men all the time is it's easier to pull your future into today than it is to pull yourself to your future. So you first do it in your mind and you pull that version of yourself from the future into today. And so when I ask my guys, I say, okay, well, if you had $10 million liquid and you had the six pack and blah, 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 right? You have these outcomes. Would it be hard for you to say no then? They say no. And then I ask, well, how often do you think you would be saying no? Because now you're the guy that everybody knows has got multi-million dollar liquid. You've got a strong net worth. You have a strong network, right? You're in your prime. You're totally winning. You don't think your deal flow and your opportunities and the number of people that want to be friends with you, you don't think that's gonna 100 fucking X? If you want to get rich, you're going to have to say no to a lot of the things that would distract you, derail you today, right? If you want to stay rich, you're going to have to say no to the 101 things that are going to show up every day in your life. You're going to take some of your money away. Good things, great opportunities. No. Got to stay focused. So I'll wrap up in saying, I think I've said I'll wrap up 5 times now. So I'm going to wrap up. If you don't know, learning how to say no is a superpower, and you will never accomplish any big results and big goals without knowing how to say no all the time to really good things, fun things, great opportunities, but they're not aligned with your bullseye. You with me? So you have to learn how to say no and then say it all the time. And if you're struggling to do that, it's because 1, you don't have a crystal clear bullseye. 2, you're not emotionally connected with your future, so you're living in the past. And then 3, You're lacking self-respect and the self-esteem and the self-confidence and self-belief to be able to say no to things and not have FOMO just absolutely rattle your cage. All right? So think on this. See what comes of it for you.